Thank you, Creator, for all you do, all you have done, all you continue to do, and all that is to come. I love you. You know I love you. So my area stay pretty much clear, but they've been flying their airplane. Anytime one of they minions see me in this window just staring into, and this is every day, and this is every day. But if they happen to ride past or walk by or whatever, and they see me in the window staring at that, I guess they get nervous and shaky and shit. I guess I don't know. Uh, But they get on their little phone devices or whatever device they got, and they call in and report it to their masters. And they masters scramble the jets and the helicopter people and they little video game people to start flying the iRobot birds, you know, to start bringing this nonsense over the top and block out my area. As you can see over there, you know what I'm saying? See over there? It ain't over, you know what I'm saying? But all of this stuff dissipates into like a misty like look, so it does cover the skies. And they bring, since my area get clear and the eternal energy, the deep blue sea will start showing, they'll scramble the jets and all that shit and start getting the airplane bird devices to bring this shit over here. And then when this shit comes over here, then it'll start dissipating into like a mist to cover my area up again. And then I, just have to get focused again and start clearing it out. It's crazy, man. They're very consistent at what they're doing. But my reason for making this video is, since that guy did that thing, and I had to destroy his little God character. I noticed that on his thing it said, stay bliss. So I just was like, I don't even think that word is in the Hebrew. So where does this BLISS come from, is what I'm thinking. Because blessed is BLESS. But we do know that they do word magic and trickery. So I'm getting ready to take it upon myself and see what this word really means. I'm ready to look it up in etymology because it's not in the Hebrew. So let's have a look-see, shall we? Okay, so as you can see at the top, I typed in, what does bliss mean in etymology? Okay, but that's not the first one they give me. They give me, bliss is from Middle English, bliss. From Old English, bliss, blith, the finals. In this Old English word is actually a suffix, and the word itself is related to blith, the source of modern English, blith, which means happy. Definitions of bliss, a state of extreme happiness. Bliss definition, meaning, synonym. Let's see here. Let's go over here and get to this etymology. Okay, so we're going to go over here, right here. See this? We'll go right here, and we are going to tap on that because that is the Old English, the etymology. And let's see what it says. Old English, bliss, also blios, bliss, merriment, happiness, grace, favor, from photogrammatic, blissjo, source also of Old Saxon, blidsi, blidze, from blith is Gentile. That's interesting. Kind, Gentile kind. See blith, TJO, noun suffix, originally mostly of earthly happiness, in later Old English of spiritual joy, perfect felicity, felicity, the joy of heaven. It has been influenced by unrelated bless. Unrelated bless. So it's not related to bless. Let's see what else it says. Well, they got their favorite character right here, as you can see. Let's see. Up to the top so you can be able to read this too if you choose to. It says bless right there, but bliss is unrelated. And it says Middle English blessing. From Old English, I'm not going to read, bliss stain, northern brain, bleodens, blow, Bloedsian, blodens, saying, to consecrate by a religious rite, make holy, give thanks, from photogrammatic, okay, and it says hollow with blood, mark with blood, from Lotham, blood, see blood, originally a blood sprinkling on pagan altars. This word has been chosen in Old English Bibles to translate Latin Benedict, in Greek, both of which have a ground sense to speak well of, to praise, but were used in scriptures to translate Hebrew, I guess that BRK is to break down, to bend the knee, worship, praise, invoke blessings. L.R. Palmer, the Latin language, writes, there is nothing surprising in the Semitic development of a word denoting originally a special ritual act into the more generalized meanings of sacrifice, worship, bless, and he compares Latin immoral, see, immolate. The meaning shifted in late Old English towards pronounce or make happy, prosperous, or fortunate, by resemblance to unrelated bliss, to make it unrelated so that people wouldn't know what it meant. So unrelated bliss, the meanings invoke or pronounce God's blessing upon, is from early. No cognates in other languages related blessing. So what I'm getting at, this brother, is bliss and bless are actually words of the chosen. Those that have been chosen by God, those that are willing to go out and shed blood and do God's work, and they will be anointed with the marking of blood. But they changed the marking of blood into ashes or oil, because people wasn't feeling getting blood smeared on top of their forehead with the mark of the cross. Okay, so it says we're going to start at the top again. Middle English, blessing. From Old English, and then it goes through it, blessing, Northern bring, Blodinson, to consecrate by a religious rite. So it's by a religious rite, to make someone holy, make holy, give thanks, which is to your God that you serve the demons. From photo grammatic, Blodson, hallow. So hallow be that name, that bullshit. Hallow with blood. So they smear you with blood and shit, which is the mark of the beast, and they are telling you that's what that is. Hallow with blood, mark with blood. That's the mark of the beast. So they changed the marking of the beast from marking people with blood, and this is the reason why it tells you in that book, go through the town and take the blood and mark the doors so that the curses of God will not come upon your area. And really what the hand of God really was, they don't tell you this they tell you it in the book, but when they speak about the curses and shit, they don't say that the hand of God is of men, but it is. So those people that receive the message of the kings and queens, look, if you serve us, sacrifice an animal, and take the blood of the animal and mark your door with the blood of the animal, and then the soldiers will not come to your door because they know that you are loyal servants of the kings, those that serve God. Okay, so then it says, from Botham, blood, sea blood, originally a blood sprinkling on pagan altars. Okay, so this was a tradition, of the kings that were ruling in the lands, and those people that didn't follow those things were, killed off of the lands. It's basically what that was. Uh, this word was chosen in Old English Bibles to translate Latin benedicts and Greek erligan, both of which have a ground sense of to speak well of those that are following under the covenant of the demonic demons that are God, the evil spirits of the earth, who the kings and the kings follow. So they spoke well of each other, and they praised each other. They were idols to each other. They idolized each other for the things that they were able to get away with. Nobody can touch them. Who dares step up to them? We got many minions that follow them. People that are in their armies that do what the kings tell them to do, because those people have lost their train of thought because they have accepted the anointing of the mark of the beast with the blood under the covenant of the demons in the religious cult secrets. And those people that was in those armies would do whatever the fuck the kings and queens would tell them to do. And they would go out and kill people off of the land. And it says to speak well of, to praise. And they did. They praised the kings and all that shit for that crap. Because the soldiers felt like that they could do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. They had the weaponry and all that crap. But were used in scriptures to translate Hebrew breakdowns to bend the knee. So, that's when you bend your knee and they say, I knight thee. I now knight thee. That was knighting people probably. And then later on, when they started making people bow under the covenant of the demons that they call God, they would make them bend the knee to get the mark of the beast to be anointed under the covenant of God. And they worshiped and they praised and invoked blessings, which blessings and invoking that type of shit is curses and hexes up under the covenant of the demons, is what that shit is. The Latin language writes, there is nothing surprising in the Semitic development of a word, denoting originally a special ritual act into the more generalized meanings to sacrifice, which is what it was. You sacrificing yourself up under the kings and the queens because you now will serve them under the blood covenant of the demons. And you now serve the gods because you have accepted it, and you are sacrificing yourself. And under that covenant, you have become a slave. So you do what the fuck you are told, and you, like the people that was in the armies, they did what they was told. They would go out and kill people, which are sacrifices. They are sacrificing other people's lives to please the ones that they serve, which would be the kings, queens, up under their God. And they worship and they praise their God and bless their God for, blessing them to be able to get away with that stuff. Manipulated their minds to an extent to where they felt like they were getting away with it. But all of those people that was doing that type of stuff, they are condemned to the darkness. They are dark, evil spirits of the earth now, cut off from Creator, never to receive eternal energy. And this is why we was tricked into serving the demons, because they need us to agree to serve them, to allow them to draw eternal energy from us that they are no longer to have. And then it says, and he compares Latin, immoral, see, immolate. The meaning shifted in late Old English towards pronounce of make happy. It shifted. So they changed the word. They word magic and they changed the word to bliss, to bless, and changed the meaning of it, saying that it was to mean happy. I mean, it made people happy that served under God. They was getting away with all of this evil shit, and they enjoyed doing it. And they changed the word's meaning from all that evil shit into happy. And people have latched on to this word bliss and blessed, thinking that it means happy, and it doesn't. It's evil. Prosperous. They changed it to prosperous. What is prosperous? Prosperous means to gain materialistic things in some ways, is what it means. Prosperous actually really means to overcome evil, is what it means. But if you are serving evil and you are doing evil for the purposes of evil, because that's what you love doing, you will never prosper. Or fortunate by resemblance to unrelated bliss. The meaning invoked or pronounced God's blessing upon. That's what it meant. God's blessing was upon those that were willing to do the things that the evil spirits of the earth were manipulating the king's minds into telling those kings and queens to tell the soldiers of whose minds were now manipulated by the kings and the queens that put the blessing of God upon them, and they were doing whatever the kings and the queens told them to. It's from early 14C, no congregates, cognates. In other languages related blessed and blessing. Let's go down here and see what this blith is. This computer be messing up, so. Blith. Old English. Joyous, kind, cheerful, pleasant, from photogrammatic. Blith is Gentile. You're not supposed to have nothing to do with Gentiles and shit anyway. Kind, source. Like I said, they have the mind of serpents. They present themselves as doves. So they present themselves as joyous, kind, cheerful, pleasant, this type of shit. But they are Gentiles. They serve gods. That's what a Gentile is. A Gentile is someone who serves demons under the title of God. Because that's who the gods are. It don't matter what name they pick or choose. The gods are the demons. And anybody that serves them is a Gentile. Kind, source also of Old Saxon, blien, bright, happy, middle, Dutch, blithe, Dutch, Old Norse, mild, Gentile, Old High German, gay, which they say that gay means happy. But shit, there's a lot of gay, happy motherfuckers. I ain't got nothing against what people choose to do. That's your choice, man. It's y'all's choice, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that shit. That's on y'all. Friendly, gothic, kind, friendly, merciful, related. No cognates outside of grammatic. The earlier applications was to the outward expression of kindly feeling, sympathy, affection to others, as in Gothic and owned. But in OE, the word had come more usually to be applied to the external manifestation of one's own pleased or happy frame of mind, and hence even to the state itself. So it's exactly what I explained, how I explained it. Because those people were getting away with anything that they were able to do under the rule of the king and the queens and stuff, they felt like it was right because they was taught that this was right, because they was told a lie. They was told that they were supposed to be serving these gods, and these gods are demons. And because they was told that the gods was something that they were not, these people were serving them, and they were doing all type of ill things up under the covenant of the kings and the queens and of the gods, and they was doing whatever it was that they was told to do, and because they was getting away with it, they enjoyed it. It tells us that right in plain sight. Usually, right here, usually to be applied, sorry about that, usually to be applied to the external manifestation of one's own pleased or happy frame of mind. So whatever they chose to do up under the kings and the queens, under the title of God that they were doing, that made them happy because they were getting away with it. They had the weapons and shit. People that was living on the land didn't have any clue about none of the stuff that they were doing. People was just living on the land happy. The food grows for free. The kings and the queens did not like that. They wanted to have control and power. So they had the minds of soldiers and stuff, and they would send the soldiers out to make people bow down under something that people obviously had already knew. We're not supposed to have nothing to do with no such thing as a God, bow down and praise to nothing and all of that. And that obviously made the kings unhappy, unpleasant, because they felt like everything was supposed to go their way. They have plenty of minds that is manipulated, that is serving in their armies. So if you didn't bow, then they would just send their armies through where kill you off of the land if you didn't agree to serve them. And they obtain land like this and start putting this system together to where the food no longer grew in the creation of life the way it is meant to, which it is meant to be growing everywhere. We're not slaves of any kind. We created and create slaves of any kind. Created us free and created all the food to grow in the creation, to sustain the life in the creation so that we could be free. So this is y'all's word bliss and y'all's word bless, which is the anointing of the kings and queens under the covenant of God with blood. That is what that bullshit is. Well, I mean, people can have their own opinions and stuff. Y'all think whatever y'all want to, man. I mean, I know that the gods is demons. Anything that comes from a god, it is demonic. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that the guys have ever done was promote murder and kill. The only ones that, and they didn't prosper for it because them people became dark spirits of the earth for doing that shit. They became demons for following under the gods. The kings and all of those shit. And everybody that followed under the kings and the queens and shit became evil spirits of the earth. Because they was running through the earth doing whatever the fuck they felt like. Killing people and all kind of shit. You know. The only thing that it speaks about in that book, the only ones that was prospering in that book, what they would call prospering, meaning wealthy, was the motherfucking kings and the queens. Everybody else was slaves and peasants. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was slaves and peasants. And that's the way it is today. You know what I'm saying? You might have a few little people, they think they doing a little something, got a little money or something in the system, but they don't.